Back to Premier League action for Manchester United this weekend away at Newcastle. Thank God another international break is over, but the only downside is there is another one coming up before the end of the year, which is bullshit in my opinion. Get them out of the way and then worry about the Premier League, the good stuff, what everyone wants to watch. Now, back to this Premier League game. Newcastle up next, as I say, away from home. What do we expect from Manchester United, really? And what do we expect to see from Newcastle? I mean, this is a game in which, on paper, you would expect at the start of the season Manchester United to be firm favourites to go to Newcastle and claim the 3 points. Now, I've watched Newcastle a couple of times this season. I watched them against Brighton and they were absolutely shocking. And then I watched them against Tottenham, where first half, I mean, that could have been 3 or 4-0, it really could. And somehow they managed to stay in the game and scrape a point, which we never got anything against Tottenham besides what a goal. I mean, we were, Jesus Christ, a penalty. We were absolutely shocking in that game. So, however they got the result, they did get a result against Tottenham, and then they got a 3-1 victory last time out against Burnley, who have been very poor. But to be honest, Newcastle aren't a very good side. Pretty poor. I thought they were poor last season, and yet they finished fairly well up there considering they were poor. And that just shows for me how poor the league is, to see a team like Newcastle. No disrespect to the players they've got on the pitch and the performances that they're showing. Nothing against the team. It's nothing to do with Newcastle at all. But I just feel that they're a poor team. But this is a game where Manchester United could quite easily go to Newcastle and lose. We've been in absolutely horrendous form. None of the players that are playing on the pitch are playing well. It is a really worrying time for Manchester United. It is fucking horrendous at this moment in time. And there's obviously been so many question marks, obviously the last week or so, about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job. But I think there's a bigger picture to worry about than the man who's in charge of this club at this moment in time. And so many of these players are just not performing at this moment in time, or key signings weren't made, and everything like that to go with it. And if we change the manager in the next few weeks, if someone like Pochettino comes in, I'm not overly confident that results are going to massively improve. I've been watching on this international break, even the likes of Anthony Martial, Bruno Fernandes. Alright, Rashford got a penalty, but most of them haven't actually performed very well. Harry Maguire been very poor for England. I mean, most of them have been haven't set the world alight on international duty either for their countries. So it is a bit worrying there. I mean, De Gea letting in a stinker as well. Most of our international players didn't perform very well in this international break either. Are they really out of form, poor form? Some of them maybe not good enough for Manchester United. It is a worry, it really is, because I think it lies a lot deeper than the manager, and going into this is going to be, for me, a difficult game. It really is. There's no given in the Premier League, and this is going to be hard for Manchester United. We've got to play well to get a result in this game, even though, as I say, I've seen Newcastle this season and I didn't think they've played very well. I didn't watch the last game out against Burnley, but the other games I watched, I thought they were very, very bang average. And they've brought in Callum Wilson up front, who they're expecting to score more goals. Didn't get a lot last season for Bournemouth, but's already got a few this season. A couple of penalties along the way as well, which you've still got to put them away. So here's their main goal threat up front that's going to cause Manchester United problems, really. But to be honest, I don't really see a lot else that I can say where Newcastle are going to cause us a lot of problems. And it's Manchester United's own downfall again. I mean, last year we got terrorised by Longstaff in the game. The Matty Longstaff, was it? I mean, Jesus Christ, that was a poor game away at Newcastle last year when we lost 1-0. We were horrendous back in that time, and we did beat them 4-1 at home, and we did go behind in that one to Longstaff as well. So we're going to have our work cut out in this game. I think that he might change up this team a little bit for this game, because the defence has been absolutely atrocious. I think he's going to keep David De Gea in goal. I don't really see anything different there at all. I think that he will stay between the sticks, even though he's making mistakes, still as he did in the week for Spain. And he's just not, for me, I'm just not confident with him in goal anymore. I think Henderson's should be given that opportunity to start in goal, but he's not going to do that until De Gea makes a couple of massive howlers for Manchester United. Then if Henderson continues to perform well in the cup competitions and keep clean sheets, then there is real question marks and pressure going to be mounting on Solskjaer to drop De Gea. But he will stay in goal. I've got a feeling he might go for a back three in this game, kind of with the back five sort of as well. So I think he's going to probably go with three centre-halves at the back. I think he's going to go with Lindelof, Maguire, and I think he might go for Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw did play at centre-half a bit last season, and maybe he can do... He certainly can't fucking play any worse than he did against Spurs, let's be honest. I think he might do that and then put Wan-Bissaka and Telles to make it at the back five. That is sort of how I think he may well do it for Manchester United this coming weekend. I mean, whether it's going to... I mean, I don't like playing three centre-halves at the back, really. I think you're really playing three centre-halves. I mean, it can work. It definitely can work, this formation. But I think a lot of the time you're playing this because the centre-halves just aren't good enough. And you're putting an extra centre-half in there. And in this case, we're probably going to be putting Luke Shaw in there, who isn't actually a centre-half. I don't even know what he is. To me, he just hasn't been good enough for Manchester United. And I thought the reason why he brought Telles in was so that he could play instead of Luke Shaw, but I've got a feeling that he's going to go for him as a centre half, which, I don't know, it's probably worrying. Midfield, I mean, he's going to go with Pogba and Bruno Fernandes and probably Matic in there as well. That's what I would gather, but Van der Beek does probably deserve a good shout to play and start ahead of Paul Pogba in this game, because Pogba hasn't been playing well this season, not at all, and he probably deserves to play ahead of him and play Bruno Fernandes and Matic with him and drop Pogba. But Van der Beek will probably start on the bench, but did score for the Netherlands this week in the international break. So hopefully his confidence is nice and high. Was probably the best one to come out of the international break in terms of any credibility for Manchester United. And moving on to obviously the forward line is where Manchester United are going to have their problems this weekend. No Edison Cavani. It has been rumoured that he cannot play because he's quarantining after coming from France. You've got to quarantine for 2 weeks, so he's not going to be able to apparently make his debut for Manchester United till the game against his old club PSG, which is a massive blow to Manchester United. But if he had been fit and firing, I reckon he would have probably started the game on the substitutes bench, which I expect him to do against PSG in the following game. But Anthony Martial has been absolutely horrendous this season and is actually banned for this game as well. He hasn't started the season well at all, been really poor. So I expect he's going to go for Marcus Rashford through the middle. I personally would go for Mason Greenwood through the middle, but he will go, I reckon, for Marcus Rashford through the middle, probably Greenwood on the right, and then he'd probably go for James on the left, I reckon. But I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Mata maybe on one side, and I don't know what he's going to do, but Mata hasn't looked bad. I mean, I've never been a massive fan of Juan Mata playing in a forward three really, but Mata did look quite good in the League Cup games recently, and to be honest, Dan James has done literally fuck all for a long while for Manchester United or for Wales. So I mean, the other option he could go for is Odion Ighalo in that number 9 position with Rashford and Greenwood on either side. Could he do that? Could do, but Ighalo as well has looked very poor for Manchester United recently in League Cup games against Brighton and Luton. So it remains to be seen, but it's a real massive conundrum for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to pick the team. But as I say, I would go for Mason Greenwood through the middle. I think he's our best goal scorer when given consistent run of games. I think he is a better goal scorer than that of Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial. I personally do anyway, and given a lot more game time and service, I reckon he will put the ball in the back of the net. His overall performances haven't always been at their best, Greenwood, and he hasn't started the season great, but I think the fact that he's just got a knack of finding that corner, placing it in the right place. I mean, he's a very good finisher. He's a natural finisher. I think that's what wins him over in that number 9 position. You wouldn't really say that obviously Marcus Rashford, you wouldn't really say he's a natural goal scorer for Manchester United. So that would be why I'd have Greenwood in there. He's got to get some game time there at some point because Cavani's going to probably play in that number 9 position in the coming few games. So probably at the following weekend Cavani will probably start the game, the foreign Premier League game. So Greenwood's got to really make a claim for that number 9 position by getting a game. when the other strikers are not available for Manchester United, which would be a great opportunity in this game. But I think it's going to be a difficult game for Manchester United, this one. But I'm going to put my neck on the line in this and say Manchester United get the job done and get a 2-1 victory. I think, just hoping that Manchester United can scrape it and get through with their firepower firing. I'm just hoping that some of the players will step up to the mark, the likes of Greenwood and Rashford, and maybe Bruno Fernandes can step up to the mark a bit in this game and get Manchester United over the line. Anyway, like the video. If you're watching it on Facebook, please do hit the share button. And if you're watching it on YouTube, please do hit the subscribe button. It really helps us out. And I'll talk to you all again soon. See ya.